Welcome back to Zeke's Lunchbox. We are doing a Q&A today. I haven't done a Q&A in a while. I feel like there's a bunch of new peeps here who may not have seen some other videos where you kind of get to know me. I'm sure there's lots of stuff that you guys want to ask me. So turns out I asked you guys what you wanted to ask me and I got the most questions I've ever gotten on Instagram. I'm going to try and answer as many as possible, but I'm not going to be able to do that in this video. I will answer all of your questions in a different video, which will be exclusively on my Patreon. Oh my god, yes, my Patreon's finally here. I think it's been months of a lot of you guys wanting to support me on Patreon, which has been amazing. I've been kind of wary about doing it for a while because it kind of stresses me out to add like one more thing on my plate, but all the other questions will be on Patreon if you want to head over there. And also I've got a little theme going on because it is a Q&A. She loves a theme. Before we head into it, make sure you like and subscribe the video and check out all my other videos while you're here as well. I make lots of arty things, give lots of art advice. This is just a very honest and open platform about what it is like to be a freelance artist. So if that's something that interests you, hit that button, give a little subscribe and like. Let's get into it. First question on here. I'm kind of curious how you were raised up. Like, were your parents artists? No, neither of my parents are artists. My grandparents were creative. So my grandfather on my mum's side used to paint murals, but I didn't really know him. So that's never really been an influence. And my grandma has been a kind of painter. My dad has been very instrumental in really encouraging me making art. I think from a young age, it was pretty obvious that I couldn't do anything else. So all my birthdays and Christmases and all of that, I would be given lots of art supplies to kind of play around with, and I would be given lots of art books to go through, and he would kind of tell me a bit of art history. So that's just always, I think my dad's been a big influence in that. My half sister on my dad's side, she has also been a creative as long as I've known her. She's always drawn and kind of leaned towards that. So no, neither of my parents are artists, but I feel like my family still has been pretty instrumental in me going into this path because they've been very encouraging, and I'm very lucky to have my family who are awesome in that way. Advice for artists with basically no social media following. Social media is such a double-edged sword. Yes, it really helps you find your people. You may not be able to find people in your direct community or in your town that will like your art, so that's why social media has been so instrumental and helpful for me, but I don't think it's the be-all end-all. I still think there's a lot of other artists that I know who don't have a social media following, but they're huge. But you know, they're doing things in real life, constantly applying for art grants and art exhibitions, and there's just so many other opportunities that are out there without social media. Now, if you do want to be on social media, there are so many ways to get a social media following. You just really have to work at it. Honestly, YouTube has so many videos on how to get subscribers, a following on Instagram, and yeah, I'm not the best person to ask when it comes to getting a following. I feel like for me it's been a long slog and I don't even have a big following compared to, you know, social media numbers. So yeah, what are your goals? What do you want to achieve? I don't think it's something that should completely deter you. If your art's really good, you'll eventually get there, but also it's not necessary. I don't think. There are still other avenues. I just think for me personally, I'm trying to get all avenues and my bases covered because as an artist, you never know when one channel is going to dry up. So that's why I do a lot of different things. So I do recommend that. I hope I answered that question. Next. Next question, what material do you think is the best to use as a beginner? I use watercolor as a beginner. I think watercolors are a really good medium to start with because one, you can get lots of cheap watercolors, and two, you can also get watercolor paper. Three, watercolor brushes are all very cheap. I think watercolor is just a really good medium to like instantly get something down on the page, and I think the fluidity of it is really fun and kind of breaks you out of being like really stiff. I think people who start off with pen and pencil find that they are very restricted and can't make like big scale work because they're just restricted to a tiny teeny little mark. So yeah, start with mark making, start getting loose, big, and I would say watercolor because you can just go big instantly. How do you get ideas for your creatures? So exciting news about this. I have announced that I will be doing a creature workshop with Workshop Melbourne. We'll be going through a process of illumination, and I'll kind of give you guys lots of ideas and ways to go about how to make creatures. I will be making a video, kind of very shortened version of what my course is gonna, or what my class is gonna be like. It's too much of a hefty question for me to answer in a Q&A, but you can either come to my workshop, which I'll have all the details for below, and also just stay tuned for more information about that, because there's a lot that goes into it. I can't answer that right now because it's like a full-on hour talk. Let's move on to another one. Why do you like your sketchbook spreads to be aesthetically pleasing? And part 2, does it help hinder your creative process? I don't think they're all really pretty. I think there's some that, you know, I'm just trying to like get ideas out, or just like trying to fill a page, or there's a few spreads in my sketchbook where I feel like they're not that good. But I do like full spreads because I kind of, like I said, she likes a theme. I just like being able to flow around the whole page. For me, I just think it's really satisfying when I am able to get a whole spread. But I don't put that much pressure on myself. I'm not going into my sketchbook and being like, okay, now I'm gonna do like a whole spread of red figure drawings. No, I kind of just go in and just relax and play, put on some good music and like get into it. Then I kind of see a pattern going on, and then I just kind of continue that. So I don't know, I feel that all of that sort of stuff is just fun exploration, and I like the spreads. I don't think anybody should like go into the mindset of being like, I need to fill up this amazing spread. Just take it easy and go with the flow when it comes to sketchbook stuff. How do you get quality scans of your paintings so that you can sell them as prints? That question tapers off on the end, but I'm guessing you just really struggle with trying to get good quality scans. When it comes to paperwork, I go to my local print shop and they scan it for me. I used to have a scanner, but I just don't think it's good enough. If you're in Australia, just go to Officeworks to get them to scan it. It costs like 40 cents. They scan in 600 DPI, so the scan's just really good. Don't underestimate Officeworks, they can do a lot. Experiment with your local print shops. Tell them exactly what you need, and they're usually pretty good. Otherwise, for my paintings, I actually photograph. I don't scan paintings. Usually dim out all the lights because I find that the shine on the painting gets really, you get a lot of reflection, and it's kind of annoying because you can see the texture of rain and canvas. So I try to put all the lights out and then put my camera on a tripod and then put the exposure pretty much way up because it's really dark, and that seems to do it. If you guys want a video on how I do that, let me know. But I have had a lot of trial and error. Really, it's just practice on what works for you. Where do you get your prints made? All the companies I can find are American. Honestly, Google where your closest print shop is. I print all my stuff locally. Where you guys are, print your stuff locally as well. There's so many small businesses that are ready to go. You think they're not right for you because you're an artist and you're like, oh, they won't want to work with me because they work with like big corporations and print big banners and stuff, but they can do lots and lots of different works. Whenever I get asked this question, I always tell you to Google wherever your local print shops are and small businesses and support those guys. You should be supporting your local business. What are some of your long-term goals with your art/business? Oh my gosh, so many goals. Well, one, I want YouTube to be like 100,000 subs. That'll be great because I feel like all the artists I follow who are around the 100 sub mark, it seems like it's not too big where the demand is too much. It's not too small where it's like really drippy and the demand isn't enough. 100,000 on social media would be really nice, and that's where my goal is with social media stuff on both Instagram and on YouTube. If I could just have that many people, it's like a good amount, I think, to keep things constant. Apart from social media stuff, I would love to have my own studio where I could have a couple of employees to help me make content, help me make art, help me with merch. So that's something I want to put out there to the world. I saw around my area that there was this incredible pop-up gallery place that was like all pink, and it was like an artist studio for rent, and I would love to rent that place out. I just don't know if I can make that financial leap just yet. But yeah, that's a goal of mine, to have like 2 or 3 employees. Also, another goal would be to obviously finish tarot. I really want to have another solo show. It's been something that's killing me. The tarot cards are basically 3 solo shows. videos. Yeah, I'm dying to work on like big scale paintings, but that'll be soon, one day, maybe in a year or two. I want to travel the world and paint murals all around the world. That would be great. I would love to just go over to lots of different countries and be in lots of art painting festivals. That would be awesome, but I need to actually get out there and paint some more walls. That's been something that's been plaguing me for quite some time. And lastly, I would also like to have a podcast with my partner. There's a lot of long form discussion that I want to have with you guys about art and the art industry, and we've got a lot of fun topics that I really want to talk about, but it would be more like a vodcast situation, so a video podcast where we have a lot of different visual elements to it. And yeah, that's a lot of goals. That's enough. I don't want to put anything else out there. That's all I can handle so far. But I feel like all of the stuff that I did mention, I feel like is achievable at some stage. That's my 5-year plan. Fingers crossed. Okay, what art medium would you like to try out and work with more in the future? Spray paint for murals. I feel like if I could just get a little bit better at that, it would be awesome. I've been really struggling in the past with spray paint, but I think the last year I've been really honing my craft, so I feel like I'd be a lot better now with spray paint. I would also like to just do a solo show with all giant oil paintings. That would be great. I haven't ever done a big painting with oil paints, but I imagine I just have to learn a couple of concoctions and I'll get into it. I've been wanting to get into oil paint for quite some time. It's just like, I can't make that financial leap just yet. Soon. Okay, Prism of Tears. Hey girl, I've been talking to you quite a lot on Instagram. What up? Who inspires you, and do you use references for your work? Yes. I don't know, I feel like I've got lots of inspirations. I think film and filmmakers and basically the whole visual team in cinema are people who really inspire me as creators. All the people who work behind the scenes in film, it's just such a big group effort, and I really appreciate how much creativity and discussion must be going on in that. So whenever I watch like behind the scenes of, I don't know, sculptors or like puppeteers or whatever, I just find all of that fascinating and amazing. So those are the creatives that really inspire me, and just films in general really inspires me. And references, yes, I do use a lot of references. For a lot of my own tarot card stuff, I take a couple of faces from images I find on Pinterest. I'll have my Pinterest link below if you want to have a look at all my references. A lot of my sketchbook stuff references are in there. But with tarot card stuff and just all my personal artwork, I tend to take photos of myself in lots of different positions and use that as a reference. So lots of the hands in tarot are my hands. Actually, this is a little side note. Frank Frazetta, who is, oh, actually this plays into the other question that you asked. Frank Frazetta, who is basically the godfather of sci-fi artwork and is a big influence on me personally. He used to stay really fit so he could model for his own paintings. I really love that. I mean, it's insanely narcissistic, but it's like, I don't want to hire a model, I'll just like do it myself. Yeah, that's actually been a big inspiration for like me trying to get really fit so I can take like lots of good reference photos. Not that every single model that I should photograph should be like, you know, the optimal perfect body, but for me that's how I see my art going in, because it is referencing that, I don't know, future world, everybody's perfect body. Yeah, I do need more varieties of bodies in my artwork. I acknowledge that. Okay, what is a normal day in the life like for you? Well, I normally put my alarm at 6 o'clock and tell myself I go to the gym, and then I don't go to the gym. And that's pretty much every single morning. And then lately I've been trying to sketch instead of like going straight into my emails and then going into design work. That like really brings me down. Every single day is very different for me because it's either like a filming day or painting day or a graphic design day. But lately, the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to just go straight into my sketchbook for about an hour before I head into emails and all the other boring stuff. And then I usually sit at my desk for 6 hours and then make dinner and then watch TV and go to bed. It's really boring, to be honest. Me, myself, the person I am, very, very boring. I wake up, I don't go to the gym, I sit at my desk, and I'll probably go to the gym after sitting at my desk for a while. Rinse and repeat. Very boring. Where do you get your stencils? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I saw someone came over to Instagram and also asked me on my YouTube videos where I get my stencils. Okay, this time I will have it linked below. But also, I didn't buy my stencils online, although I saw, when I was looking it up, I saw a bunch of stencils that were like, oh, I definitely need to get that. I mostly go to like craft stores. So in Australia, we've got like Lincraft and like Spotlight and like all the other chain art stores in Australia. But you know how there's like a whole section in the craft store where there's like foam stuff? And then usually around there, that's where like all the stencils are. So that's where I got mine, but I will also have them linked below as well. Sorry, I didn't reply to you. I'm doing that now. Where do you buy your canvas? I just go to local art stores. A lot of the stuff I do is local, so it's kind of difficult for me to share on an international level. I will share all the brands of my canvases and all of that stuff below, but for all the bigger stuff, I just go to the local art store. Go to your local like proper art store, not like a chain art store. There's usually like a local specialty one that will have the right stuff for you. If they don't have the right size or whatever, just ask them. And if they won't do that, then you can always go to Amazon. I use standard cheap canvases. I've mentioned before, all the gesso that they use on cheap canvases is really bad. So just buy your own good gesso and then whack all that all over. And then there you go. You got a good canvas ready to go. All right, you guys, that is all I have for this time. Again, if you want to see part 2 or like an extended edition of this, you can head over to my Patreon and watch more of me rambling and ranting. That's it for today. I hope I answered as many questions as I can. If you have any more questions, just pop them below and I'll do my best to answer them. Yeah, that's it. You guys, if you want to follow me in between videos, head over to my Instagram. If you want to support my channel, head over to my shop. Get some stickers, something small. Every little thing counts. All right, you guys, I will catch you in the next one. Speak to you later. Bye. This week's end slate is by Rabbit Spew. Absolutely love the movement in this one, and the color palette is incredible. If you guys want to be featured at the end of my videos, make sure you hashtag your image inspired by Zeke, and I will like your picture and possibly feature it. Thanks, bye.